Hello everybody. Today I'm going to teach you how to use the EntraFlo Nutrition Delivery system for a patient that's receiving enteral feeding. So the first step that you do is you want to check the order to confirm exactly what rate and what amount of feeding is going to be used here. So for our patient today, we're going to be giving them 150 milliliters at 75 milliliters an hour. So the first thing you want to do after you read the order is gather your supplies. So we've got the EntraFlo Nutrition System. So we need the EntraFlo feeding pump set. We need the feed that's ordered. And then we need the machine. I'm not really sure what happened to the audio here, but yeah, I'm just going to open this up. First thing you're going to do is inspect your EntraFlo set. And when you're inspecting it, you're just going to make sure and look around it. Make sure there's nothing that's a deformity. The second step that you're going to want to do, but I'm going to skip it for the sake of protecting my patient's PPI, is you want to label your bag. On the label, you're going to put the patient's name. You can put the physician depending on your facility, but what you need to put is the patient's name, the date and time that you're starting this, what product they're going to get, the rate that it's going to be delivered, that's the milliliters per hours that you got off the order, and the volume or the amount that you're delivering. And you're going to fill it out on this paper and you're going to stick it to the front of the bag. And like I said, I'm skipping this step, but I'll make sure that I do it after the video. You're going to turn the machine on. Press the green button to turn the machine on. Right. You want to keep the clear tip on this until you intend to deliver it, because that's going to protect the integrity of the tubing. And then we also have this little nice cup here to keep it for us. Okay, so you can see that I already have a set rate here and everything, and I'm going to reset it. And I'm going to go ahead and set it to 150 because our order calls for 150. All right. And then it already has our infusion rate set here. So let's do the infusion rate from scratch now. Set the infusion rate. Now the infusion rate for this machine has already been set, but if it wasn't set, you would just hold down on the reset button and then you'll click the up and down for the infusion rate. Now I'm gonna double check my order. And yes, like I thought, my infusion rate is 75 mils an hour. 75 mils an hour. And we're infusing a maximum of 150 mils. So let's see, set dose limit 150, but if it wasn't at 150, I would just operate the up and down arrows until it got to 150. All right, now that that's finished, you're gonna take this, open your feeding. Okay, so while you're pouring the feed in, you don't want to spill any, of course, that's obvious. And you just want to pour more than the required dosage, because we're using a pump that is going to stop when we've reached the required dosage. So you want to pour slightly more than what you need. Also, some of the feeding sits in the tubing, and so you want to accommodate for that as well by putting just a little bit more than necessary. The next step is going to be to prime your bag. Now, for this specific pump, when you want to go to prime it, you're going to need to put this here first. It will not prime unless this is in this tank here. I just want to take a second and do it a little bit slower because I kind of did it really fast the first time. You're just going to take the tubing and drag it down the first slot. And then you're going to open it up. Slide the roller clamp towards the widest end. Once you have the top of the thing here, once you have the tubing loaded, you're going to take the tip off here. And once you take the tip off, the enteral feeding will begin to prime. Now we have the roller rolled all the way towards the top. That unlocks. Now, you want to have it over top of something for when it starts to drip. And I kept the top for when I finish it up. It takes a second, but what you're watching when you're priming is you're using gravity to make this feed, this yellow, feel the clear line all the way with no bumps. And you make sure that everything is dripping. You're going to make sure there's no defects in the bag. So the reason for priming the tubing is to make sure that there's no air bubbles in between the area wherein the patient receives the feeding and the tubing itself, because air bubbles will cause gas and unnecessary discomfort to the patient. When you prime it, you're going to prime it all the way to the tip. And what's left in the tubing, they don't actually will end up having it administered to them. Once the bag is empty, the machine will beep and will tell you that it has met the dose limit. So you can fill it over. That's why we set the volume delivered dose limit to exactly 150 ml. In fact, you want to fill it over so that you can ensure that your patient receives the correct dosage that they are meant to receive. So once it's primed, you see it's dripping from the tip here. You can go ahead and roll that roller clamp back. And your set is primed. And what I like to do with this is just put it through here. And you just put the tip here. And you don't want to put it all the way through because, you know what I mean, you don't want it to touch anything that's unclean. But that right there is how you go ahead and prime your EntraFlo Nutrition Delivery system. What you also will want to do is make sure that you put the prescribed amount of flush. As you can see, this one doesn't come with the flush built in. So we bolus the water through the patient's G-tubes before and after feeding. So you're going to want to verify with the order how much water you're flushing before and after feedings. And then you want to make sure you document in the progress note how your patient is tolerating the feeding, how their G-tube flushes, whether it's patent or not. And that's just very important for continuation of patient care. I hope that you guys found this to be helpful, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for coming.